Good morning / good evening, wherever it is where you are. I'm Steve Lookner. This is Right Side Broadcasting. We are coming live late tonight because of this breaking news, which excuse me, let me turn that down. This breaking news, which just came out a few minutes ago. North Korea has apparently launched another missile as a test. CNN was reporting unidentified projectile, but there were other sources online reporting a missile launch. And let me just actually, I have a tweet here. I'm going to post it for you so you can see it. Sorry, let me get this up here and you can see. Oops, let me turn that down, sorry. Okay, and all right, so I'm going to go to this picture now. It might take me a second to get it up. Hold on one sec. It's coming. No, that's not it. That's President Trump's trip. There we go. So this is Will Ripley at CNN reporting that South Korea Joint Chiefs of Staffs are saying that North Korea fired an unidentified ballistic missile that flew about 310 miles. South Korea, the US, and Japan are now analyzing. Now, that 310-mile figure doesn't tell us everything we'd like to know. One main reason for that is that, last time they shot a missile off, which was only a week ago, it didn't go that far lengthwise, but it went very, very far height-wise. I'm trying to remember the exact number, but I want to say it went like, was it like 1,500 miles in the air or something like that? It was just a gigantic number, and basically what they did is when they want to test longer range missiles, they can't just fire them horizontally because then it'll go into some other country's territory. So sometimes what they do is they test a longer range missile, but they shoot it almost basically straight up in the air, not quite. And so when you see that 310 miles there, that doesn't tell you how high it went, and that's going to be an important question coming out, being asked right now as well. So hello to everybody both on Facebook and YouTube. Again, I'm Steve Lookner. We're covering this breaking news that North Korea has done another missile test apparently. Wow, it's amazing. They're like doing once a week now. I think the last 3 weeks they've done one a week. And someone might say, well, they're doing this timing wise during the president's trip to show that they're still relevant or to get attention or something. But to me, the level, the amount of times they're doing these tests, it suggests to me, maybe I'm wrong, but it suggests to me that they're just really making this all-out effort to get an intercontinental missile that can hit the United States as fast as possible. Because it's like, how many of these tests you're going to do to just get attention for yourself? One line of thinking in North Korea could be that they think President Trump might at some point be willing to do a military strike, and they want to get this missile, get a nuclear missile that can hit the United States as soon as possible. In order to do that, they have to develop a missile that can reach the United States, and also they have to miniaturize nuclear weapons to be able to put them on a missile head. And there's questions about their capability in both of those, but I've heard estimates saying within a few years they could have an intercontinental ballistic missile that could have a nuclear weapon mounted on it to hit the continental United States. So right now what's happening is I'm just looking at my sources here online, and no one really has any more information about this. There should, if past test launches are a guide, in the next few minutes we should be getting more information. If you'd like to send in your comment, feel free. The information's on your screen. You can either write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner, or email me at steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. I forgot, what I can do is actually I can get myself up here. Let me see if I can do that. There I go. Oh, that doesn't really work well because I'm normally see, when I'm here, then it looks like I'm in the news studio. But if I'm in that box, it looks like I'm in the if I'm in the little box, it's just a green screen. So anyways, I'll stay off there for now. So Ray Roth writes in, no few years now, yes slash no. So Ray, I think your question is, well, is it less than a few years now for them to get an intercontinental ballistic missile that can hit the United States with a nuclear weapon on it? Not necessarily, because, they have to both, they don't have a missile yet that can reach reliably the continental United States. The last test was one of their longest missiles, and it's only a mid-range missile. It's still a couple thousand miles from hitting the United States. So they get closer, but I don't think, from what I've seen the last few tests, people haven't changed their estimation, experts, on when they might get this weapon, but also when they might get this capability. But also there's still a lot of uncertainty about what technology North Korea has, and that's why these tests are looked at so closely. And that last test they did last week was seen as a real advance. It surprised a lot of people. So who knows how close they could be. And again, every time they do one of these tests and get closer, then the question comes up is America going to let this happen? Do we have a choice anymore? Will President Trump do something? Maybe he'll at some point do something militarily. But they have really ramped up the testing. It really seems like every single week they're doing a test. Ray says hi, by the way. Thanks, Ray, for watching. And I just want to check here. So we're covering this breaking news. Let me see if I can get you any more. I had that one tweet on the screen for a while. Let me see if I can get you anything more up to date now. Oh, look, there's that one tweet. Here, I'll put this other one up. It's not really much more informative than the one I have up, but it's something else to look at. Sorry, let me grab that photo. Where is it? Where is that photo? There it is. This is from News Executive. They say North Korea fires an unidentified ballistic missile just a week after its latest launch. Missile flew about 500 kilometers, which is about 300 miles. No other information yet, but again, if past test launches are a guide, we should get more information in very shortly. Oh, here we go. Here's a little more information. By the way, a White House official says, we are aware that North Korea launched a medium-range ballistic missile. That is from a White House official. We are aware that North Korea I'm going to put that tweet up there. Oops. There's from Steve Herman, says a White House official, says we are aware that North Korea launched a medium-range ballistic missile. The last one they launched a week ago was a medium-range ballistic missile. And let me just emphasize this again. It is striking how many tests they're doing now, how frequently they're doing them. And again, to me, that suggests they're really on an all-out crash program to get this done as soon as possible and to get an ICBM that can hit the United States as soon as possible. Some theories say that they see that as a ticket to their survival. If the regime has a missile that can hit the United States with a nuclear weapon, that prevents them from being overthrown. That's one popular theory as to why they're working so hard on testing and developing this technology as soon as possible. Let's see another report here. This is from. Hold on here. South Korea Joint Chiefs of Staff is also saying that North Korea fired an unidentified ballistic missile towards the east at around 4:59 p.m. Korea time, North Korea time, from the vicinity of Pukchang. Gossamer writes in, Steve, do you think the U.S. is getting played by China and Russia? Despite their diplomatic niceties, it seems that neither wants North Korea to reform or collapse. It is the perfect foil to the U.S. and regional threats. It keeps the competitors or enemies to China and Russia preoccupied by an irrelevance. So there is this important question, Gossamer, of how much does China really do? I mean, so China is supposed to be the chief one that's working with us, and they really have the most influence of anyone over North Korea. And, they provide so much of the food and energy for North Korea. But you do have to wonder, we kept hearing that China was cooperating with us after President Xi's meeting with President Trump in Florida, and the administration was saying how well the cooperation was going, but the cooperation, any kind of Chinese pressure they're putting on North Korea doesn't seem to be working very well. This is the third test in the last 3 weeks. Now, Gossamer, we don't know. Perhaps China really is trying to put pressure on North Korea, and ultimately it's up to North Korea whether they're launching missiles or not. So a lot unknown here, but it is quite worrisome, I think, that they're doing so many tests. If you'd like to write me, once again, you can write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner, or email me steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. Let me grab your email here and just make sure I'm not missing any of those. Okay, I'm going to check and see if there's any more news here. Nothing yet. We're just hearing. I'll throw that tweet up there so you can see that piece of information. Just waiting to get more information on this right now. It's also an interesting time. This is not the usual time they launch their test. They test fire their missiles. I'll talk about that in a second. So this is from Steve Herman as well. This is from the South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff. North Korea fired an unidentified ballistic missile towards the east at around 4:59 p.m. from the vicinity of Pukchang. Will Ripley from CNN reports Japanese broadcasters broke in with news of North Korea's latest missile, which landed in waters off Japan. Now back to regular programming. You know, normally they launched their missiles in the morning, very early morning in North Korea time, and normally, you know, so it'll come on like in the I want to say later in the day here, like late afternoon here, and you know, the fact that they're launching this right now, you know, I don't know, because somebody could argue, well, this clearly isn't. Somebody might argue this is not to send a message to the United States because it's, you know, 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Eastern U.S. time when they launch this thing. So now, granted, President Trump is awake, but a lot of America is not awake. So you would think if they were just trying to make a statement to the United States, they would wait till they would launch it at a different time. Okay, let me just see if there's any more. Ray writes in, I am a Trump supporter. I do support a strike on North Korea, but not on Syria like what happened previously. Thank you, by the way, for earlier mentions. You're welcome, Ray. Thank you for watching. Let me quickly add. So I'm scanning the web here, trying to get the latest information on this. I wonder if it'll be covered a little less in the American media just because it happened so early in the day. You know, it's and a lot of people are talking about President Trump's speech, which is only in a few hours, and so this might not get the coverage that it would normally get, but it is another test. And it also, you know, I wonder, you know, if they do a test a week, which they're doing, will people start to get used to them testing, which I think is kind of dangerous as well, because, you know, as the more they test, the more they develop their capability. I will also say real quick, if you like our breaking news coverage here, if you like having an alternative to the mainstream media, I hope you consider donating to us because we are viewer supported. We can only stay on the air with your support. If you'd like to donate, even a small donation is incredibly, very much appreciated. You can either go to rsbn.tv/donate, that's rsbn.tv/donate, or you can go in the chat room and click on the $sign at the bottom of the chat room, and you can donate that way. And I should point out, I believe this is a first. It's so early in the morning and so the middle of the night that there are literally no moderators in the chat room. Now I see some familiar faces in the chat room. I see Jason Thornton there. Jason, exercise some control there, Jason. And Ion, I know, and so some other people there who are so you regulars in the YouTube chat room. There's no moderators there right now, so you're in control of things. If people get out of line, let them know that they can't get out of line in there. Thank you. In fairness, I don't think the moderators expected us to come on with live coverage at about 5 in the morning Central Time, 6 Eastern. So that's totally understandable. Oh, Jan is here. Jan is here. Thanks. Jan is back. Jan is moderating right now. Thank you, Jan. Okay, just looking for more information on this missile test. And, you know, another thing I was wondering about, is it possible that they would have fired this missile because President Trump was making a big speech today and they wanted to fire it a few hours before his speech? I guess it's possible. Well, let me do this. Let me go back to me for a second, then I'll go back to the tweets. Hold on one second. All right, so here I am. I just want to sum up what we're doing here, but before I do that, let me get something up on the screen here. There we go. So we are covering breaking news. North Korea has apparently done another missile test this morning. They just did one last week. They did one the week before, and a lot of missile tests being done by North Korea right now. And that is not the missile in the picture up there. That's a previous test launch, I believe, from North Korea. I'm not positive, but it was. We used this for the. I assumed it was North Korea, so I used it as a picture for the screenshot for the YouTube broadcast. But anyways, we're trying to get the latest updates on. All we know about this missile is that it flew about 300 miles and it flew east. Don't know how high it went, which is an important question in determining what kind of missile it is, and also whether the test was successful or not, and what they're doing with this test. So we are just waiting to see what we hear about this. And also taking your comments and questions. So if you'd like to write in, I'm at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. If you like breaking news stuff, feel free to follow me on Twitter, because I very often tweet out breaking news things. And you can also write to me at steve.lookner at rsbn.tv on email. All right, let me go back into get off me and go to these tweets and other information I can get. Ray writes, RSBN TV deserves donations. Please consider their requests. Thank you, Ray. Yeah, I hope you do consider even a small donation. It would really help us out. We are viewer supported. It's also funny because, you know, if this was middle of the day, there'd be so many more people, I think, tweeting about this and getting information out. And because it's the middle of the night here, it's you're not seeing as much information come out about this, at least from the United States. But I'm keeping an eye on it. I do feel like we're going to get some more information very soon. But wow, I mean, just so many tests going on. Let me see if I can get a little test schedule. Maybe I can do that. And just go over exactly how many they've been doing lately, because it's really been a lot. So they did one on May 13th. They did one on April 28th. They did one on April 15th. They did one on April 4th. They did one on March 6th. But really, if you look at the last couple months, April 4th, April 15th, April 28th, May 13th. I thought they did one the week before that, but maybe I was wrong. So this would be like, I'm seeing 3 in April and 2 in May so far. So it's just a really enormous amount of missile testing going on there. Just taking a quick peek at the chat. Oh, and YouTube, sorry, Facebook says, Bradley Lynn says, I look so sleepy. Well, I was actually about to go to bed, and I would have normally gone to bed much earlier. But, oh, I'm sorry, it's 5:33 Eastern time, 4:30 Central. I messed up before. When it gets late, I get confused. So I apologize for misspeaking. But, yeah, I was about to go to bed, and that was way late. I normally don't go to bed that late. But this literally, as I was about to climb into bed, this news came out and wanted to come online and get it on the air while I was up. And I actually have to get up tomorrow to help stream today, to stream the speech from Saudi Arabia. I will sleep when that's over. That's my plan. Thank you for watching, Bradley Lynn, though. Lucius Varenis on Facebook wrote in, did they launch another rocket? Yes, they launched another missile, Lucius. You can see the information on your screen right now, trying to get more for you. Now, Marx is, a guy I know tweeted this out. Oh, okay. I don't know the guy, but I follow him on Twitter. And let me do a quick check of the YouTube chat. Thank you everybody for tuning in. You're welcome, Tony Mack. And yeah, just we actually got on pretty quickly after this news came out this morning that North Korea did a missile test. And let me post again. We've heard that the White House is aware that this happened, and another tweet I want to put up there is how far this missile flew. We know how far it flew horizontally, about 300 miles, not how high it went up. And that's a big question, of course, because they tend to fire, when they test longer missiles, they do it by firing them higher rather than longer, because they don't want to land in another country. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of an issue getting this tweet up, but I will do it. All right, let's do this. New. Okay, let me show you this tweet here. So, as that news executive, Breaking N Live is reporting, the test flew about 300 miles toward the Sea of Japan. Now, one thing we can be pretty sure of, it was not a total failure. You remember, about a month ago when they launched a missile and it supposedly exploded on the launch pad, and people were saying, "Oh, the United States is hacking into their missiles and destroying them all." Well, apparently that's not happening anymore, because the last one flew, a couple thousand miles in the air, I believe, and then this one, or around that, and then this one flew 300 miles. We don't know how high it flew, but it did fly 300 miles long. So, if we were hacking into their missiles, it doesn't seem to be working anymore. Feel free to write to me while we're covering this at Lookner on Twitter, or email me, steve.lookner@rspn.tv. It's so funny, because if this were the middle of the day, which is when middle of our days when their tests normally are, they normally test in their morning time, very early morning, my Twitter feed and all these news sources would be blowing up, and I just think so many people are asleep right now that this is not getting widely reported. Fox News did send out an email about this, so Fox News is on it. Ray says, "Don't worry about those Facebookers. They are under tyranny of Zuckerberg." Hey, but they're watching, Ray. So they're viewers too. Okay, I would love to get you some more information about this launch. There does not, I'm sure it will come soon, but it's just very scanty. I'm guessing because it's 5:37 a.m. Eastern time. But you'd think somebody will start posting more information about this. And I have an idea. And by the way, if you find a good link about this anywhere, a good tweet, feel free to send it to me. Let me check a couple other sources here. Hold on one sec. Just very little information about this. And again, a White House official says, "We are aware that North Korea launched a medium-range ballistic missile." And U.S. and Japan are both confirming. I see a report online that North Korea has fired a missile, test fired a missile, but no information, further information. I would like to get some more. I promise you, I'm looking. I have to say, of all, we've covered a number of missile tests here at Right Side Broadcasting, done breaking news coverage, and by far, this is the slowest it's ever been in terms of getting information about them, because everybody is sleeping apparently. Normally, there's just this flood of information and different, statements from people and that kind of thing. but I am still looking. Now, I do see there's some person on, that's not very helpful. There's some person on Twitter who posted a little thing that said trajectory of the North Korea missile that was launched this morning, but I'm not sure about it doesn't list a height in the picture, so it's not very helpful. Okay, it's like the New York Times even covering it or anything? Let me check. Are papers showing it? The New York Times literally doesn't have it on their homepage. That's pretty dumb. Does anyone, the New York Times can't afford to have somebody just stay up at night and watch the news and make sure nothing happens? So literally nothing on the New York Times site about it. How about the Wall Street Journal site? There is literally nothing on the Wall Street. Oh no, Wall Street Journal does have an article up, so they're more on the ball. Sorry, I have to just... I'm just checking the Wall Street Journal and seeing if they said anything interesting about this. So bear with me here. The Wall Street Journal says... No, they just have a big headline. Oh, they have a little story here. Let me see if it says anything. It says, Wall Street Journal says South Korea says North Korea has fired an unidentified projectile. No more details from the Wall Street Journal. All right. So we're here covering this breaking news. There's apparently been another missile launch, a test firing of a missile in North Korea this morning. Very little news on it so far, very little hard detail on it so far. It flew 300 miles, so it didn't fail. Don't know how high it went. America is saying it's a medium-range ballistic missile, but lots more information to find out here, so that's what we're waiting on. And Ray says, RSBN, I'm glad you guys are providing this info early in the morning, so props to you guys. You're welcome, Ray. It's our pleasure being on the air. I don't know how happy I'll be when I have to wake up in 2 hours to set up the Saudi Arabia speech stream, but it'll be fine. I can sleep later. It's really not a problem. And let me go back to this. I'm going to go back to this tweet for a second, and I'm not going anywhere. You're going to hear like silence for about 30 seconds, but I am not going anywhere. We will be right back, but the coverage will continue. So I need about a 30-second break. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Sorry for that little break. Looking to get more news on this North Korea missile launch, which the news is coming very slowly at this time of night / morning. Ryan writes in, they're doing this to distract the world from Trump's foreign trip. They always do this when the attention is off of them. So, Ryan, this is an interesting theory, and I mentioned that on the air a little bit earlier, that they might have done it to get Trump's attention, and also it does, like you said, come in the middle of Trump's trip and before his big speech in a few hours. It's a little odd though, because it's so early in the morning. It's like the middle of the night. Normally what they do is they normally do their test launches at about like 5 a.m. their time, and so it's like the later in the afternoon here, and then all the media talks about it, and it's like if for this launch they launched it late afternoon their time, and like everybody in America is asleep. So it's certainly and also so that's one reason to think that this might not just be to get an attention getter, and another one is just that this would be they've been doing so many tests in April and May, and I wonder if this is more just part of this crash program to get this to get their technology improved so they can develop an ICBM that can hit the continental United States. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong, Ryan. Could be a little bit of both. I have a message here from thank you, Ryan, for writing in and for watching so early in the morning. Steve Herman reports Japan. I'll post this actually. Why not post it for you so you can see it? Steve Herman reports Japan strongly protests North Korea missile launch. Chief Cabinet Secretary says it landed outside Japanese EEZ. I forget what EEZ stands for. I will look it up. Exclusive economic zone. It's a sea zone outside of Japan. Well, it's a sea zone near Japan. Extends. I don't know how far the EEZ extends in Japan. But anyways, it did not land in the Japanese EEZ. I'm really interested in knowing how high this went, and if there's more information. Can't get it yet. Nothing yet. Thank you again, Jan, for moderating the chat, doing early morning duty. For a minute there, I thought we might not have a moderator and things were going to be all anarchic, although I'm sure the regulars would have taken control in there. But thank you, Jan, for moderating. Thanks, everybody, for joining us at this crazy hour. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If there's breaking news and we're awake, we will bring it to you. Anthony McDonald writes in, North Korea, what do you think is the last straw in regards to their tests? It's a really good question, Anthony, because you'd like to think that there's a last straw before they actually get an ICBM that can hit the United States. But you're asking the really key question, which is if there is going to be a last straw, if there is going to be a point at which we take action, which President Trump takes action, what is it going to be? Some people might say, well, if they do a new nuclear test. I mean, right now they're just testing the missiles, but what if they keep testing their nuclear weapons? That could be something. But the problem is that I don't think it's not like, I'm guessing what you'll see is over the next couple of years, if we don't do anything, just incremental advances, and they keep advancing. And I think if you're waiting for one test that's so much bigger than the other ones, I don't know if that's going to happen. You're going to keep seeing these incremental advances, and the question becomes if you're going to draw the line, where do you draw that line? And I don't know what it is. Maybe they'll do some tests, and that'll cause the intelligence community to change how long the United States has left before they get a nuclear missile that can hit the United States, and that'll change. That'll be what the last straw is. But I don't know, Anthony. That's certainly a good question, and in a way, the key question, if you want to know what the U.S. is going to do. Kamara says, what time is it in Saudi Arabia? Attention distraction is probably high probability. Yeah, Kamara, so and I mentioned that before. In Saudi Arabia, they're awake. I think it's about probably 1 p.m. in Saudi Arabia. So certainly this can get the president's attention in Saudi Arabia. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like they've been testing so many over the last couple months. It's at the point, to me, and these are real tests. These aren't sort of send the missile a couple miles and it's this little missile or something. I mean, these are mid-range ballistic missiles. That last test they did supposedly was a real advance in their technology. So to me, this really seems like they're really making this big technological push. Now, maybe they happened to launch it today before President Trump's speech, whereas they could have launched it tomorrow or yesterday. But generally, to me, it doesn't feel like they're doing these launches just to get attention. They're doing them to me, it seems like they're doing them to really develop their technology. Ray says, great work staying on top of important issues so early in the morning, just like a staunch journalist should be. Thank you, Ray. Yes, I'm a bit tired, but I am staying with it until we can. By the way, I didn't sleep. I mean, I haven't gone to bed yet from last night, so that's why. If I seem tired, that's why. Ryan says, it is pointless countries coming out with strong statements. It makes no difference. They need to get tougher. And it's 10:50 a.m. where I live, the UK, so I'm all good. Well, good that you're awake, Ryan. Oh, that's right. You're not. It's not late where you are, so cool. But yeah, I don't know. Will anything change? It's we've heard a lot of statements the last couple of years, last few years, more than that, last few presidential administrations, but whatever we've tried hasn't really worked. I mean, we've tried sanctions and we tried making a deal with them, but North Korea is closer and closer to being able to hit the U.S. with a nuclear weapon, and they really seem to be going as fast as they can. As I mentioned before, one argument for that, one reason they might be going as fast as they can could be because they actually think President Trump is somebody who might eventually do a military strike, and they want to try to get their get nuclear capability of hitting the United States before that can happen. So maybe they just see it as really important to go as fast as they can. Another thing might be they see how, the Democrats are not going along with President Trump, and there's a lot of disagreement in this country, and maybe they figure, hey, President Trump will not have the country behind him, so this is the time we got to rush to do it while he's sort of hindered from action by not having the country behind him. I'm not saying that's true. But I mean, the country is a divided country. This could just be something they're thinking. So this is interesting. I'm going to post this tweet from Jennifer Jacobs. Although I'm a little unsure about this tweet. I'm going to post it. Sorry, I yawned because I've been up all night, but don't worry about me. I'm a little uncertain about this tweet, and let me tell you why. So Jennifer Jacobs, who I like a lot, actually, I think she's a good reporter, says White House aware that North Korea launched a mid-range ballistic missile and says it has shorter range than the missiles launched in the 3 most recent tests. Now, what I'm a little confused about is that shorter range comment. It only flew 300 miles horizontally, but what we don't know is how high it flew vertically. That last test, if I can look it up, I should look this up. If I can recall how high it was. Yeah, so that last test they did last week, it flew about 500 miles lengthwise, but it flew over 2,000 miles into the air, a height of over 2,000 miles. So I don't know when the White House says it has a shorter range than the missiles launched in the 3 most recent tests. That might mean it's just purely a shorter range missile, or it could just mean it flew horizontally not as far, but we don't know how high it flew vertically. That's a key question. Also, don't know, what were they practicing? They'll also be asking, were they practicing certain things with it? Were they practicing, a certain kind of reentry they might have to do? Can it withstand a really hot reentry? Did they put some kind of payload on it that simulated putting a nuclear weapon on the missile? So lots of questions to come. Ryan says you should do a fake news update segment every week. Thank you, Ryan. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the one we did. If you haven't seen it, we did a little fake news update earlier this evening. It's posted on Right Side on YouTube. But Ryan, if there's enough fake news that warrants it, and I have the time, I will definitely consider doing it. Okay, this is Right Side Broadcasting. We are covering this breaking news. North Korea has done another missile test. Amazing, another one just this morning, about an hour ago, and we're covering this for you. We're waiting to get more news about this missile. any more details. And I believe because it's the middle of the night in America, or very, very, very early in the morning, there's been so little news I've seen coming out about this. But I'm keeping an eye on it. If you'd like to write me, taking your comments and questions, you can write me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner, or email me steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. And also, thanks to the moderators for moderating. Jan, I know, is moderating. And hello to everybody in the chat. And on Facebook, let me just look and see who's in there. Sherry Princell on Facebook says North Korea wants trouble. It's obvious. Betty Hamlin Favre says it's actually early evening here in Korea. Betty, are you really watching from Korea? That would be amazing if that was the case. I'm trying to, let me see if I can find some other comments here from your chats. Christopher Cox on the Facebook chat asked, with all the Navy vessels we have sitting in the area in our alliance with Japan, China, and South Korea, if North Korea launches anything, don't we have the technology to blow it out of the sky, even if it's a test launch? I'm not an expert on this. I've heard that we might have the technology to shoot down a test launch. Maybe there's. That doesn't mean we'll necessarily do that. I heard it vaguely threatened. I can't remember who did it, if it was like unnamed government officials, but it hasn't happened. Now, I wonder if that's an option that President Trump could ramp up to, if that technology indeed would work. But, maybe we like to keep the technology secret, so we don't want to use it there. There could be all kinds of reasons you could imagine that we would have the technology and not want to use it yet. And Ryan says, I think the U.S. government wants us to stay as quiet as possible about this so they don't get as much attention. Thank you, Ryan. In our chat room, what are people saying? Rocky Mike says Kim needs to go. Fusion, you are right. It's almost 6 a.m. East Coast. Oh my gosh. So late. I'm going to be yawning here. I'm sorry. And still, I'm checking as best I can for more news. And it's just on this missile, and it's so hard to come by. Try something else here. And let me say again, if you'd like having our coverage of the breaking news available and other events like President Trump rallies, please consider donating. We rely on viewer support to stay on the air. We cannot stay on the air without your support. Even a small amount is great. So if you want to donate, you can go to rsbn.tv/donate. That's rsbn.tv/donate. Or in the YouTube chat room, there's a $sign below the chat, and you can click on the $sign. So we're going to stay on here a few more minutes. My worry is if we stay on too much longer, I will fall asleep and you'll be hearing me snore, and you'll be trying to wake me up, but all you'll be able to do is send texts to me or send tweets to me, and I won't be able to read them because I'll be sleeping. But I do want to get some more news about this missile test. Keck says North Korea launched another firecracker. LOL. Thank you, Keck. I'm looking at the YouTube chat for a second. Jan, it's okay. Jan's saying, poor Steve. It's not that bad. I can sleep tomorrow. It's all right. Hey, you gotta report the news when it happens. Okay, still desperately trying to get more news about this. No, I think everybody who would normally post about this is asleep. This guy Nathan Hunt I follow on Twitter, he's great with North Korea stuff, and when he's not posting, he must be asleep, because he posts all the time about this stuff. I'm actively refreshing my Twitter. Oh, a couple messages from Tony Mack. Tony Mack says, what do you think is the last straw? Oh, I answered that email, but let me see another one. You sent me another one, Tony Mack. I and perhaps many don't see North Korea as a major threat. What is your personal opinion? Well, here's the worry. The worry is that if they get nuclear weapons that can hit the United States, problem one is that I don't think their leader, he very well might not be stable. I mean, this is somebody who sent people with chemicals to kill his, his half-brother in an airport in a different country, in Malaysia. And the cost of if they were to strike the U.S. with a nuclear missile is so huge that you want to be as cautious as possible. Also, that's a regime that could very well, if they get this kind of technology and develop their technology more, sell it to another country, sell it to terrorists. So to me, you do not want to have them. I mean, I think it's bad enough and should have never been allowed to happen that they have nuclear weapons anyway. But it's even worse if they can launch them and hit the United States with them. So yeah, it's a threat in that sense, and it's a threat because you just don't know what's going on there and really what the mindset is of people there. Waiting for more news. Gosh, so slow. It's so odd because, if it were during the day, people would be just freaking out about this. I'm actually doing a quick check to see. I'm wondering if so CNN is covering it. They are covering it. Let's see, is MSNBC covering it? I bet MSNBC is in reruns. Maybe I'm wrong. No, they're covering. Good for you, MSNBC. Maybe all the networks are covering it. And Fox. They're talking about President Trump's speech, but I think, for all you know, they were just talking about the missile. I'm not sure. But, now MSNBC is talking about Trump. And I've said it a million times, not a lot of news coming out. It's very, very odd. I'm just used when when these tests happen, it's just like you get all these different people saying stuff, and just so weird to not just have it be quiet. Keck sent me a meme photo that says it's a kid launching fireworks, and it says still launching rockets better than North Korea. But Keck, this one went 300 miles and it might have gone really, really high. So I don't know if that holds anymore. This doesn't seem like a failure, this one. Jason Thornton says crush North Korea now before it's too late. John Bond says, sorry, North Korea is absolutely insane. Katie Van Schenk on Facebook says, North Korea is a huge threat. Lucius Varenus on Facebook says, Japan should be armed nuclear for prevention. Japan does not have nuclear weapons right now, but there has been some talk of whether they might want to, if North Korea, especially if North Korea goes nuclear. One of the worries about North Korea really developing their nuclear capacity and getting a bunch of nuclear weapons and missile technology to use it that's reliable is that then maybe South Korea and Japan would want nuclear weapons, and then a lot of countries, the United States included, don't want that. They don't want nuclear weapons proliferating. All right, I'm going to give about 5 more minutes here to see if we can get some more news. If not, I might try to catch some sleep because I haven't gone to bed yet, and I need to get up and do the produce the Saudi Arabia speech, so I don't want to miss that. Keck sent in a picture of Kim Jong-un with the caption, he's still too scared to test a nuclear device. There's that question of North Korea has been reportedly prepared to do another nuclear test any time now, and they just haven't done it. But they've done all these missile tests. So are they waiting on the nuclear tests for some reason? I mean, they obviously are waiting on it, but for some reason is the question. Still no new news. So sad. I'm doing my best. I can't find any for you right now. Did the New York Times already put it on their page? Let's see. The New York Times still does not have, as far as I can see, this the North Korea missile launch on their page. How is that possible? How is there no one working there who can just put it on the front page? It's very odd. JB in the chat room says the Dems are praying we go to war with North Korea. Oh, Baron wanted to see the commentator on Facebook. Here I am, Baron. Although I'm so tired you might not want to look at me, so I'll just let you know I'm here. I am here, hello. But it's late at night, I haven't gone to bed yet. So I might actually be getting off the air soon, especially because there doesn't seem to be a lot of new news coming at this point, but I'm giving it a few minutes. So I've been showing different tweets. I'd show you more tweets, but there haven't been many new tweets lately. I can repost one of the old tweets. If I can find it. Here, I'll post this one again. Ah! There's that. Okay, something is going wrong here with my screen capture. Let's see if I can make this work. Oh, there we go. Good, done. There's that. We saw that one before, where it flew about 300 miles. Let's see, anything else? Nope, no more. Still no updates. Keck says TYT too busy fabricating news. TYT. Keck, I don't even know what TYT stands for. That's a internet slang, right? I hope it's nothing naughty. I can't find it, Keck. I looked it up. Take your time. Okay. I think. All right. I'm almost ready to call the stream because there is just an absence of new information. If it was the middle of the day, I think I would stay on for a while longer. But given that I have to get up in about like 2 hours, it's pretty sad. So I apologize we couldn't get you more information yet on this. I'm sure there will be some coming out soon, but not a lot right now. Oh, Keck, you meant TNT, not TYT. By the way, I encourage you to follow Right Side Broadcasting on Twitter at RSB Network and subscribe to us on YouTube. And then when you do, click the notifications bell so you can get informed about all of our different videos. All right. Well, folks, looks like the information is going to a crawl for some reason. Maybe when everybody wakes up in a couple hours, they'll give us more information about the missile. But I think it's going to be time for me to sign off because I need to get a little sleep. I am absolutely exhausted, and I'll be up, and join us for later today for the President Trump's speech on Islam from Saudi Arabia. That is, well, he's speaking at an event, and the event it starts streaming at 8:15 Eastern, but I'm not positive. No, 9:15 Eastern. I'm sorry, 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 our time. But I am not positive when he's speaking during that event. So we will start running it at 9:15 Eastern. You can turn it to Right Side Broadcasting. We will do that for you. I hope you join us tomorrow for it. And I think that's about it for me. I'm kind of energyless at this point. I wish I had more, but need to get a little sleep. Checking the chat room. You're welcome, Ion. You're welcome, Jan. Thank you for moderating. Thanks, Rich Mountains. William Geary, have a good day. I guess you'd say have a good day now, huh? Thanks everybody on Facebook for watching. Appreciate it. Timmy Bass wants to know if North Korea already has the capability of reaching California with a missile, and the answer is no. I guess they might have a missile which can hit Alaska. Bye, John Bond. Carmine, you're really writing from Prague? That's really cool. Sack Whacker says, I should, wow, I'm not going to say your name again. You better come up with a cleaner screen name. I'll call you S. Acker. And says, I should be having my breakfast soon. Ugh, it's a whole mess. Tomorrow's going to be a mess. Today, whatever. S. Whacker says, morning, Steve. Jason Thornton, you're welcome, Jason. My pleasure. Jacob Turner, thanks. Top Keck, thank you. This is by no question the slowest news response for any North Korean missile test. And let me just check Facebook here, make sure we're up to date. I think Lucius said thanks. If you did, Lucius, then thank you for saying thanks. And that was on Facebook. Tony Mack writes in another subject, my father is worried about his pension. Any word on Trump's federal employee pension plan at the moment? I know nothing about it, Tony Mack, but if I did know something about it, I might not remember it at this time of the morning when I haven't slept. Feel free, if you enjoy breaking news, to follow me on Twitter. I'm at Lookner, at Lookner, and follow Right Side at RSB Network. Okay, well, folks, looks like there's not going to be some more news for a little while. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you on Facebook and on YouTube for joining us tonight / this morning. Please join us for our coverage of President Trump's speech in a few hours, actually. 3 hours, about 3 hours from now. And I will see you soon. But until then, have a great day or rest of your evening wherever you might be, or morning, wherever you are around the world. And I will see you. Hold on a second. I will see you soon. What do I have to put up there? There it is. I will see you all soon. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.